Now on Brookland News Live, an active scene in West Bloomfield, Michigan after a car ramming incident into a synagogue. The latest on that. Plus, we will bring you the new details we are learning right now outside of Tel Aviv, Israel, as the war in Iran enters its 13th day. Brookland News Live starts right now.
Brookland News Live starts right now with breaking news.
And it is so good to be with you. I'm Jackson Mitchell. It is Thursday, March 12th, 2026. It is 2:02 right here in Brooklyn, 12:02 on the West Coast, and 3:02 on the East. We have a lot of news we are going to delve into. Let's start right now with the news we are learning out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. I'm going to bring you the latest details that we are getting. A sheriff there in Oakland County, Michigan, just providing an update moments ago. First, though, you can see the two shots that we are mainly focused on right now. What we do know about this incident is this is at the Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township. You see both those shots there. You see the number of law enforcement resources. According to the Oakland County Sheriff, Michael Butchard, moments ago, he says that car is still there. The car caught on fire after ramming into the synagogue. There have been no injuries reported besides that security. There was one security guard who has now been transported to the hospital. That's the only injury that has been reported so far. We do also know that security inside the synagogue did open fire. It is unclear what ended in killing the suspect. Was it this car that did catch on fire, or was it the gunfire by security, or something else? We don't quite have those facts just yet, but again, we did note here the sheriff just providing an update a moment ago, and we do want to bring you that here in just a second or so. But first, we did want to catch you up on the details that we do have into the Brooklyn newsroom right now, and that is that a man armed with a rifle and rammed a vehicle into the nation's largest Reform synagogue. I'm reading this directly from the Associated Press in a Detroit suburb, and was fatally shot by security. We actually have something we can show you. This captures. This is from Google Earth, and this is going to show you right now where this is. So if you'll give us 1 second, we're going to show you exactly on Google Earth where it deems this is at. So this is from Google Earth. This shows you where Temple, I wonder if I'm able to click on it now. Yeah, so you can see my mouse there. So that is where this all occurred. Detroit, you see it's in northern Detroit there. So now we are waiting for any more details to come out. But what we do want to show you right now is from really just moments ago when we got an update from Sheriff Michael Butchard of the Oakland County, Michigan Sheriff's Department. So that coming into us here just moments ago. We want to play that out for you. This is the sheriff.
Okay, so again, this is all going to be super preliminary stuff. And anytime you have a situation like this, information changes and evolves. Here's what we know so far. A car came to the facility, breached the facility by driving into it, was engaged by security. We believe there is one individual deceased in the vehicle. It's been complicated because there was some fire, to say the least, with that vehicle. We believe that individual is deceased. No kids, this is the important thing, no kids or no staff was injured whatsoever, okay? So we have no victims other than one of the lead security people was hit by the car and was taken to the hospital for treatment. That individual should be okay. So far, that's our information to this point. We have agencies from all over. Obviously, AETF is here, FBI. More than likely we'll be taking the lead on this based on some of the preliminary investigative information we have, but we're not going to go into that at this point. But we want to assure the community it doesn't appear to be anything active. We're still clearing the area. We're going to clear vehicles for any explosive devices, the building, etc. Unification of the families and the kids are in progress. We've accounted for everybody that we believe was in the building at the time. So we're on path to continue to maybe pivot to, is there anybody else involved, and the investigative side of what's happened.
So did you confirm that it was security that shot and killed the suspect here?
Well, we can't say what killed him at this point, but security did engage the suspect with gunfire.
Did the suspect have a weapon?
We can't get into a lot of that stuff, but he breached the building, drove down the hall, and he was engaged by security.
So do we know, did he ever fire shots, the suspect?
Preliminarily, we have some information, but nothing that we confirm, so we're not going to go into it.
Where did he breach the building, the front?
He drove in through doors with a vehicle.
There was only one person in that vehicle?
That's what it appears at this point.
What do we know about this fire?
Something ignited in the vehicle. That's a work in progress. We're, through an abundance of caution, clearing the vehicle for IEDs or any explosives. We've got a significant number of bomb dogs on site, bomb techs on site, and all of that's going to be done to check the boxes. We have deployed resources all across the county, just in case, out of an abundance of caution, that there may be a secondary site, but we don't have any information at this time to believe that. So we want people to take a breath. No one was hurt. We're on top of it. Chief and his team got here fast. Everything that was supposed to happen happened. Security did their job, and then the responders did theirs.
Was it a Michigan vehicle?
Sheriff, what did the call come out as?
I believe it came out as an active shooter.
Where and when did you actually neutralize the threat? Where was it? Where was he?
The vehicle's in the hallway of the building. It's
then
inside the building.
He was shot right there.
Again, I can't tell you what he died of until we get a little further. We haven't actually gone into the car. It's still being cleared.
So we do know that the security guard shot this
They shot
shooter,
at?
shot at them, but it's unclear if he was killed by
Because, you know, in
fire.
situations like this, you never know. If somebody's trapped, sometimes they kill them. So the suspect was engaged.
Was it the same-
It's the clearest sentence I can give you.
What is the condition of the security officer?
From information I got, he should be okay. He was knocked unconscious.
So it's a different security officer who fired the shot.
There were multiple security officers on scene, and the one that was hurt was pulled from that area by his team.
How much? Where's the car registered from? What?
We're not going to get into the specifics on the car at this point.
You say what type of car it is, sir? A truck or an SUV?
It was a truck.
Sheriff, this is West Bloomfield scene, the sheriff's scene. I know everybody's here.
Everybody's here, more than likely, based on a couple early pieces of information. The FBI may take the lead. That's yet to be formally determined.
Were there explosives in his vehicle?
That's yet to be cleared.
How much damage to the building from the fire?
That I can't even tell you. You couldn't even see the hall was completely clear. We had to send people in with gas masks to clear that area.
The car actually entered all the way into the building.
All the way in the building.
Do we know how fast he was going?
It's hard to say how fast. I mean, he was traveling with purpose down the hall from my look at the video.
This could have been a far worse situation considering the severity of it, him getting into the building, whatever may have been in the vehicle. Talk about just the response, those security guards, and how this could be far worse than what we're reporting and seeing right now.
No, absolutely. In fact, what I would tell you is that I am deeply proud of the response, not only from the security that was on site, but also of all the police officers and the firefighters that are here right now. We train on active shooter events a lot. The county has a consortium, OPTAC, that trains the entire county on active shooter tactics, and that's something that we believe in and that we support, and I think that training certainly helps to mitigate what happened here today.
And the chief has been in contact with all of the facilities for weeks, and not just on the last couple of weeks, but constantly forever. But in the last couple of weeks, even a lot more integrated communication. I mean, there are always, and all of the agencies in Oak County are partnering with their religious institutions and schools And anytime there's a concern, there's communication, there's extra patrol, extra attention, extra warnings. That had all happened for the weeks leading up to this. And the team inside that building was very queued up. And I know the chief had communicated directly with their head of security weeks ago.
Were there any directed threats at this specific time?
There was no specific chatter about any institution or facility in Oakland County, but they were all on alert.
Sheriff, we see vehicles leaving. Is it all clear of an issue? Is the shelter in place still in
It's
effect?
still in place until we clear vehicles and make sure there's no IEDs or other secondary potential. But we believe there's nothing active at the moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
So it's likely that there could be another press conference here, maybe.
Alrighty there, Sheriff Michael Butchard, excuse me, there of the Oakland County, Michigan Sheriff's Department, providing a brief update there on the ongoing situation outside of West Bloomfield, Michigan. If you're just joining us again, a vehicle rammed into the synagogue inside West Bloomfield, Michigan. That was the sheriff there providing an update. Multiple mentions of searching this vehicle that they say is now in the hallway of this synagogue for IEDs, and they have not given the all clear. You have seen this scene, that it's clearly a very active scene, but the amount of vehicles traveling on this roadway has died down throughout the last little bit. So that is the update that we are getting right now. We are also tracking the latest from Attorney General Pam Bondi, who on X now says the FBI and ATF is on scene. In a post on X, she says, quote, "Our FBI and ATF agents are on the scene assisting local authorities at Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Please pray." So we will continue to follow the latest updates here and bring you any new news if we get any in. So again, a suspect now dead. It is unclear, as the sheriff there also noting how this suspect is dead. We do know that the vehicle did catch on fire after the ramming incident, and also that security agents with the church, with the synagogue rather, excuse me, did open fire on this suspect. We don't know the cause, though, of the death of the suspect. We also do know the guard was injured. So we are going to continue to follow the latest here and bring you updates as we get them. And we're also getting in some more reaction. If you'll give me a second, I'm going to try to bring this into you quickly here. Michigan lawmakers now weighing in. So give me just 1 second as I put this graphic up on your screen for you. This is going to be from Senator Gary Peters, who represents the state of Michigan, on X, reacting to this news here. So we now are able to put this up on your screen. Excuse me here, I was just preparing the graphic for you, where he now, the Democratic senator now weighing in, saying, quote, "My heart is with the families and everyone affected by the violence at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. I am monitoring the situation and people should follow the direction of law enforcement. I'm grateful for these first responders for their quick response. All Americans should feel safe where they pray, work, and live. Anti-Semitism has no place in our society, and we all must come together to condemn this horrible violence." So Senator Gary Peters there weighing in. We have also learned throughout the last little bit that President Donald Trump has been briefed on this incident. No remarks have come in from him just yet. We're going to sneak in a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we will continue to update you on this situation if we get any more news in. We're also going to bring you an update on the Iran situation and much more. Brookland News Live continues right after this break. And welcome back here into Brooklyn News Live as we continue to follow the latest out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. After we have learned a suspect is dead and a security guard at that synagogue is injured after a car ramming incident. We're following the latest there as we are continuing to monitor two shots here. You can see them now on your screen showing you both of those. We are monitoring those and will bring you updates as the vehicle still stuck in the hallway according to the sheriff just moments ago. We're waiting for an update there. You see a tow truck moving if you look on the right side of your screen, that red vehicle. So we're monitoring both of those shots. We are just now within moments getting a reaction from the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, who says, quote, I am tracking reports of an active shooting at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. We are working with Michigan State Police to get more information. This is heartbreaking. Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. Anti-Semitism and violence have no place in Michigan. I'm hoping for everyone's safety. Thank you to law enforcement for their swift action. So Gretchen Whitmer reacting within the last few moments. Now, again, the motive of this suspect is unclear, though multiple statements from the Democratic lawmakers outside of Michigan are assuming that this was an attack of anti-Semitism. This church also called Temple Israel, so that also leaves you maybe to assume, maybe discuss the motive of the Iranian war, which began just days ago, and that's where we are going to turn our focus to here in just a few moments. But still, tons of questions that the law enforcement is still looking for, and we will await those. The sheriff also saying that they have reviewed some type of video from this scene, so we will monitor any updates coming from this scene and from the sheriff on that aspect of things. We're also learning within the last few moments, at least from Fox News reporting within the few minutes, last 30 minutes or so, that about 6 weeks ago, the FBI had training at this same synagogue, active shooter training at this synagogue. So likely some people, at least, that responded to this scene may be familiar with the layout of this building, but the incident had already been really completed since the suspect was dead as law enforcement arrived. So we will continue to follow this update and we'll bring you more when we get updates. We do want to turn right now to the latest of the war in Iran, now in day 13. Yesterday, the International Energy Agency, or IEA, taking to social media to announce that they have agreed, the 32 countries of the International Energy Agency unanimously agreed today to make 400 million barrels of oil from their emergency reserves available to the market to address disruptions in oil markets stemming from the war in the Middle East. The decisions to take collective action was made following an extraordinary meeting of IEA member governments yesterday, convened by IEA Executive Director to assess market conditions amid the conflict in the Middle East and consider options to address supply disruptions. President Trump also saying that includes the reserve in Texas, releasing oil from that as well. Here is President Donald Trump yesterday on when asked about when this would begin, when he would begin tapping the emergency reserve here in the United States.
A timeline on when you're planning to tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, a timeline of when that could happen?
We're going to be doing it very quickly, and then we'll fill it up. We'll fill up our reserves. You know, if you remember, I filled them up, and then I had a deal to go at the highest level, a level that's never been, and Schumer and the Democrats for $25, and it was turned down. You remember that, Peter. Almost before your time, but not quite. But it was, we had a deal at $25. Think of that, $25 a barrel, and the Democrats turned it down. We're going to tap it out like it's never been, but they turned that down, and now it's a lot higher.
So President Donald Trump now weighing in, saying the United States is going to release a little bit of their reserves. This comes after stark criticism of President Biden back when he began using some of the oil from the strategic reserves here in the United States. So he says he's going to use it, but he's going to fill it back up. Now the question is on when this is all going to be over, and now some new reporting on the cost of the war. The New York Times out with this report. Pentagon tells Congress first week of Iran war cost more than $11.3 billion. Want to read a little bit of reporting coming in from this. Here you go. It's on your screen now. It says the estimate did not include many of the costs associated with the operation, such as the build up at such of military hardware, and personnel ahead of the first strikes. For that reason, lawmakers expect the number to grow considerably as the Pentagon continues to calculate the costs that accumulated just in the first week. Still, it appeared to be the most comprehensive assessment Congress had received so far, amid mounting questions about the objective scope and time frame for the war. The New York Times and Washington Post reported earlier that defense officials had said in recent congressional briefings that the military used up 5.6 billion of munitions in the first 2 days of the war. The New York Times points out this is a far larger amount and munitions burn rate than had been publicly disclosed. So that report now coming in from the New York Times on the possible cost of this war. We brought you another aspect of all of this. We brought you this story yesterday. Now NBC News and a number of other organizations out with this new reporting here. There we go. Saying outdated intel likely led to deadly U.S. strike on Iranian elementary school. Sources say. That's a headline now out from NBC News on all of this. I want to play you a video now from NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson now over on NBC News Now. Take a look.
It comes as a preliminary investigation is putting the blame potentially on the U.S. for a deadly strike on that Iranian elementary school because of possibly old intel that showed it as a military target, according to 2 sources. We'll show you some video of that strike. You see it there, that plume of smoke coming up. I want to show you how the president responded to that.
A new report says the military investigation has found it was the United States that struck the school.
I don't know about it.
President saying he doesn't know about it. These images, according to fragments of what appear to be a U.S.-made missile. NBC News could not independently verify when, where, or how these fragments may be connected to the strike.
Yeah, so we were reporting that, in fact, it looked more and more likely, according to the preliminary investigation, that the U.S. was responsible. You just saw that video there, which very clearly looks like a Tomahawk missile. The U.S. is the only one who would have been striking in that area at the time. The U.S. has Tomahawk missiles, and then we know that they were using them at the time as well. Now, according, again, to this preliminary investigation, which I have to say continues to be under investigation. It's not complete yet. But the findings right now are that it does appear that not only was the U.S. likely behind it, but that they may have been using old intelligence during the targeting process. Now, the targeting process is usually multiple different agencies and some U.S. allies even will feed information in, and then something like an agency like the Defense Intelligence Agency will push forward and say, look, we believe this to be a valid target. But even when that happens, there's supposed to be additional validation from other agencies before they move forward with it. So right now, the investigation, according to the officials we're speaking with, are that it's really focused on where was the breakdown.
And that is such a great question. Where was the breakdown? Where was it really outdated intel that likely led to the strike? Still the question hasn't been answered just yet. So NBC News now out with that report. We're also learning, we didn't bring this to you yesterday, so we wanted to bring it to you today. About 160 to 180 people, mostly girls ages 7 to 12, were killed and injured during this strike. So multiple different reports varying. We don't quite have the exact numbers. I'm not sure if we said it on the air here yet, but Iran, they have an internet blackout, so it's really hard to get any connection and information outside of that country. I believe Starlink, who is Elon Musk's company, there's a little bit some scrappy signal, but we're learning that can be jammed. So it's hard to get information out of that. So also Iran escalating their attacks on civilian infrastructure and transport networks across the Gulf, targeting commercial ships and Dubai's own airport. Both sides have continued this offensive, despite now not only pressure right here in the United States from the opposing party and from even some Republicans. We're going to show you a little clip of that here coming up in just a moment. But people disagreeing, and there's pressure to de-escalate this situation. Now that Israel is continuing their attacks in Beirut and Iran, yesterday, even while we were on the air, and I believe we have we have a live shot right now pulled up of Tel Aviv that we're able to show you at least right now. Yesterday while we were on the air, Israel continuing their own strikes on Beirut, Lebanon. We're gonna get into why maybe that is. But first, I want to show you right now a lot of people wanting this to de-escalate and questioning why the president that ran on starting no new wars is now beginning one. And whose war this really is? Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly. If you're in the Republican Party, you've likely heard those names before. MAGA strongholds, as I like to call them. They're people that rarely ever disagree with the president. But when it comes to this war, they are doing exactly that. Take a look.
I mean, we've got 7 U.S. personnel dead. We've got a girls' school, 175 young girls dead in Iran, and there's serious dispute. We'll get into who's behind that, but there's only serious dispute because the president is now saying that it wasn't us, but his own defense secretary over his shoulder is saying it's under investigation. And senators like Kennedy are saying, yeah, it looks like it was us. And the Wall Street Journal and others are reporting it was us. None of this is good, okay? And you would think at a minimum, somebody like Senator Graham would like pause and not look so bloodthirsty. How does that make the Trump administration look good when we know that he's working hand in hand with the president, that he's been one of his chief advisors, to make him look so cavalier about the death unfolding in the Middle East right now and the likely of more to come? Last night on Hannity's program, Lindsey Graham did, like he was our Secretary of State or even our president. It was obscene. Who does he think he is? No one elected him as president. No one ever would. As if the American public would elect Lindsey Graham to lead this war. He thinks he's the commander in chief. He's starting to sound truly deluded, like someone needs a psychiatric intervention.
That doesn't make much sense to me, but neither does this idea that you're going to take over a country's oil supply. Like that, we'll just take it. The problem is from the outside. Like the rest of the world, you look at this unnecessary aggression by the United States government, and then you tack on whatever propaganda they have already been spitting out about America for the last 20 or 30 years, and then this war with Iran gets really ugly. Because that's how you start a World War III. You start a World War III by doing something that, other than people that wanted this forever, who else thinks that's a good idea? Who else thinks it's a good idea to just attack a country that isn't doing anything?
The bombing of a girls' school next to an Iranian naval base that was apparently the school of choice for officers at the naval base. These were the children, the daughters of the people we're fighting. You have to believe that was accidental, despite the fact it was hit twice, 40 minutes apart. Looks very much like a double tap, which is to say a bombing and then an attack on the people coming to rescue the injured. But as an American, you have to believe this was a tragic mistake. But we have to verify that, because if you wake up one morning and you're living in the kind of country that thinks it's okay to kill not simply military officers, but their daughters, that country's not worth fighting for.
You just can't sit there and go, shine us on about imminent threat. Oh, yeah, it's not an imminent threat. No, it doesn't work like that. The people in the messaging department over there got to get serious about this. You're going to start losing people if there's not consistency. Just to kind of shine on imminent threat. No. Incorrect, sir. Incorrect, Mr. Pete Hexet. There was not an imminent threat, and now we're in it. Now we're in it.
It would help unmute my mic. These are big people in the Republican Party. If you're big in the macro world, you might even know some of the people that you just saw. Megyn Kelly, Steve Bannon, that you just saw there, that last clip. Tucker Carlson, the Joe Rogan podcast, you saw him. So it's been quite messy among the Republican Party, so it's an aspect of the story that we will continue to follow. A lot of people disagreeing, and the president, when this war is going to end, we don't know. The president not too clear on that aspect of things. Gas prices also continuing to rise. I want to give you the latest update on where gas prices stand. Give me one moment, I'll pull it up on your screen for you. Want to give you the latest update on where gas prices stand across the country? I'll zoom this out. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to fix the screen so you guys are actually able to see something. I know we've been having some issues in previous broadcasts where it like automatically will zoom in no matter what I do. Okay. This is pull it up. 359 gas prices continuing to rise here. Talking about Arkansas, 311 as it continues to rise as well. 317 the average right here in Craighead County. So gas prices over $3. I'll scroll down because when you scroll down on here you can see the averages. A week ago we're looking at about $2.90. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. Looking at $2.90. A month ago, $2.48. Going to a year ago, about $2.74. And I remember going to the gas station, it was like $2.30 at some places. So it's going to be something to follow. Can we get, I don't think we can get Craighead County. Oh, county average gas prices are updated daily to reflect changes in price. For metro averages, I wonder if I'm able to get, oh, you're actually able, we can get Jonesboro averages here. So this is specific Jonesboro averages. Current average 317, yesterday's average 316, a week ago 295, a month ago 250. So gas prices lowering as the if you keep going back and back and back, and this Iran conflict now not helping that at all. So again, a big aspect, and there's so many aspects of this story that we are going to follow to make sure we're bringing you the up-to-date information that you need to know. So now Trump using 40% of the U.S. Petroleum Reserve. We covered that. New reporting on the cost of the war. We're also getting new reporting on the Iranian elementary school missile attack that was meant for a naval base and ended up hitting a nearby school. That reporting suggesting it was outdated intelligence that led to all of that. Plus, MAGA strongholds now disagreeing and gas prices still going up as the days go by. When we come back, new updates we are just getting in from just moments ago on that ramming incident at a synagogue in Michigan. Plus, John Cornyn, the Republican, now flipping his thoughts on a filibuster in the Senate. How important is a Trump endorsement? When we come back, coming up here in just a few moments. Alrighty, welcome back here live into Brookland News Live. I'm Jackson Mitchell, still good to be with you. We are continuing to follow the developing details coming out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. We want to pull up the two shots that we've been watching throughout the last little bit. We do know a reunification center has been set up, and you're going to see there on the right side of your screen possibly something in relation to that. We do know that has a reunification center has been set up, in the AP in just a few moments out with new reporting saying that this synagogue houses an early childhood center. Now, the sheriff Michael Butcher did note earlier when he was speaking to the press that we played at the top of the hour that have been no injuries of these children. Quote, no kids or no staff were injured whatsoever. That's what Mike Butcher, the sheriff in Oakland County, which holds West Bloomfield, said in that presser a few moments ago. We're also getting more information across the nation. DC police now increasing their presence at places of worship across Washington. Quote, MPD is closely monitoring the incident at a synagogue in Michigan. Out of an abundance of caution, MPD, which is the Metropolitan Police of the District of Columbia, is increasing our presence at Jewish institutions and other places of worship. Metropolitan Police said on social media this afternoon. We also know that nearby lockdowns have been eased uh, following this attack at Temple Israel. Multiple the Jewish Federation of Detroit saying, quote, we have received word that while there is still a large security present at Temple Israel, all other Jewish organizations are no longer required to be in lockdown or lockout protocol. So new information coming into us as we continue to monitor both those shots on your screen, and we'll bring you updates when we get them. Another quick break here as we continue to monitor the developing details right now outside of West Bloomfield, Michigan. We'll be right back with more. And welcome back. Okay, John Cornyn, the Republican from Texas, now changing his opinion on filibuster rules in the Senate, a stronghold that kind of went against President Trump on the filibuster, originally kind of saying, no, it doesn't, rules in the Senate don't need to be changed. Now he's out with this new opinion in the in the New York Post, why the SAVE Act matters more than the filibuster. In there, he reverses his long-standing defense of the Senate filibuster to push Trump's SAVE Act. Now, to give you some context, we were actually planning to do a segment on the SAVE Act, and it kind of turned into this John Cornyn thing, where it's a Trump-backed voter ID bill. It's facing potential failure in the Senate due to Democratic opposition because it falls under the filibuster rule where you have to get 60 votes, and Republicans don't have 60 people willing to vote for this in the Senate, at least not on the Republican side, and not many of the Democrats are wanting to vote in favor of this. So in this, he's now arguing that excuse me, I'll go back to my explainer of what the SAVE Act is. It's a Trump-backed voter ID bill. The Department of Homeland Security is it's a Trump act that would require proof of citizenship and voter ID. Cornyn saying it's crucial for election integrity. He believes Democrats are obstructing the act and other important legislation, and that Republicans should use any means necessary, including changing Senate rules, changing this filibuster rule, to pass it. Cornyn emphasizes needing it for action to protect election integrity and national security. So now the question is this all just so he can get a Trump endorsement? I think it's a fair question that you could ask, because we have seen in the past how important Trump endorsements can be. Can it win an election? Though now the question about that is being re-asked after the Georgia special election, which we talked about that on yesterday's edition of Brookland News Live. So you can go back and watch that segment now. So now it's the question. I do want to play a video for you though, because this is Larry Kudlow, his show, on interviewing John Cornyn over on Fox Business. Take a look. He says, just watch it.
So you're very much in favor of this voter registration act. Do you think the president will finally come around and endorse you?
Well, you know, the president is perhaps as well or better than I do, Larry, and the president's going to be the one to make that decision on his own timetable. In the meantime, we have about 78 days until the May 26th runoff. We're doing everything we can to get ready. If the president decides to weigh in, we would welcome that, but we're not waiting around.
Okay. We're not waiting around yet. Now he's out with this opinion in the New York Post saying he's going to change the filibuster rule. So we don't obviously know his thinking about this. Is it so he can get that Trump endorsement? We don't know that part. But a lot of people saying it is. So it's something to watch out for. We'll see if John Cornyn ends up getting that endorsement. So far, I don't believe he has gotten it just yet from what I checked today over on Truth Social. We're going to sneak in another quick break. When we come back, honestly, I would call it a bellwether. The bellwether trial on social media out of New Mexico. The Instagram CEO testifying, and we'll hear some heated moments from some more testimony. And the latest update on that synagogue shooting out of Michigan. When we come back, you're watching Brookland News Live. Welcome back here live into Brookland News Live. Please stand by with us because we are just getting into news. That's why we ended that break pretty quickly here. We're just getting word that there have been sirens heard in Tel Aviv just moments ago. So we want to see if we're actually going to be able to hear them here. Excuse me, I'm going to attempt to wind the footage back to see if maybe we will hear that. It does not look like we're seeing it, at least in that moment here. I'm going to go about, 3 minutes away and see if there's any sign of that or if they're still going on. Let's take you back, actually. This is live right now out in Tel Aviv, where we're learning just moments ago sirens were heard. So what we're going to do here, we're going to stick on this shot for just a moment. The sirens essentially mean get in your shelter, guys. It's kind of like similar to a tornado siren here in the south. So pretty much telling you to get into your bomb shelter, and it is or just shelter away from this. It's kind of just a concrete room. Usually it's indoors, possibly even sometimes they can be upstairs or in the basement. I know my understanding of this is probably different than what people see on the ground, but I'm just trying to explain it to some of you guys that are just regular old Joes that may not know everything about this. So again, we're watching right now, about to approach 10 p.m. here, and the sirens have just gone off. The sirens have just sounded off, so we are waiting to see if we can hear anything. You can hear the audio there in the background as we are going to stand by and monitor this shot, and we will bring you updates if we get any. Okay, we will keep on monitoring this for you, and we'll bring you updates again if we get any. All right. Okay, we do want to turn our eyes right now. Again, we're going to continue monitoring that shot and tell you if we get anything out of it. So a bellwether trial is like what I like to call it. It's the first of many that are ongoing, but it's about social media safety that's leading to the Instagram CEO, and there's a heated moment with another person there on this trial in New Mexico, but it is on teen safety and specifically just safety overall for social media. First, I want to start by playing you a clip, just kind of laying the scene out here and how testy this can be. This is Mary Worth, who was a witness for Meta, so a defense witness, who is a trust and safety tech expert. She does not work for Instagram, but I do want to play this out for you. Take a look. This is just kind of laying out the land and how heated it has been. Take a look.
That's what it looks like when you take corporate documents out of context.
Well, this isn't 2 lines from a document, ma'am, is it?
It's great to see a company identifying where it had a bug in its classifier, auto-closing reports, and then doing a comprehensive review so that it can fix the problem.
You think that's solace to the users who reported bad actor number 2 and their reports were auto-closed with no human review?
No, it's not, but, I mean, you can't show me one platform in the Valley that hasn't had a bug in its reporting process.
And Meta told the public it was going to do more than comply with the law, right?
And it does. They want to make it look like, oh, look at this number that they found. I want to back out and talk about how this process works at a tech company and why what Meta is doing is actually really remarkable.
Now, the state in this case claims the company Instagram and Meta, who owns Instagram, Facebook, and Threads, the company failed to protect children and did not warn users about risks that tied to its platforms. Jurors heard testimony Tuesday from Instagram chief or the CEO Adam Mosseri, who faced questions about teen safety, platform design, and how recommendation systems affect young users. He even at one point, we're going to play a report from the Today Show on NBC, he even at one point, the Instagram CEO notes that we came out with teen accounts, which is essentially, it makes it where your parents can get into anything on your Instagram account and see things that are going on and can monitor your account. He says, we recognize that we're probably going to lose users. He even admitted to that, but he was focused on teen safety, at least that's what he says. I want to play this report from the Today Show for you guys, and we might pause it if there's something I want to note about it. Take a look.
Instagram head Adam Mosseri.
And excuse us because we're having some issues with our system, so that's why things are taking so long when we're trying to play some videos for you. Take a look again.
Try to convince a jury the company has failed to protect kids from online predators. Mosseri touting Instagram's safety measures, but acknowledging the system isn't perfect.
Even though Meta says it doesn't allow child exploitation content, does some content like that make it onto Meta's apps?
Yes.
Is that acceptable to Meta?
We're not happy about it, but we're also honest about the fact that some will happen and very committed to finding it and removing it as quickly as possible.
Mosseri telling the jury Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg supported new safety features like teen accounts, even though it hurt the company's bottom line.
We would make changes that would mean that less people used Instagram or they used it for less time.
This testimony coming 1 week after prosecutors played old deposition tapes from both Mosseri and Zuckerberg. who said Meta shouldn't be blamed for criminal activity. But New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres, who argues the company has to do more.
So that was Laura Jarrett over on the Today Show talking about all of this and where things stood on this. And excuse me here, I know my camera was on, but I was looking across the entire screen because I'm checking some updates for that Michigan situation that we're continuing to follow. But again, this is a trial that is happening similar in multiple other states where they're testing is social media safe for teens and some new regulations. I believe it is, and you guys can fact check me on this. I'm just taking it off the top of my head, but I believe it's Australia that they have it where only people 16 and older can use social media. So that's going to be an interesting aspect if the U.S. were to take up something like that when it comes to social media safety. So we will continue to follow that story out of New Mexico and this trial because, you know, as a teen myself, I'm interested in what the future of social media for teens just like myself look like. Another quick break here. We're running out of time, but we do want to get to a few other stories. We do want to talk, why is Beirut the place that Israel is launching its attacks on? I was just wondering this question yesterday when we were on the air about these attacks. We're going to answer it. So we're back in a few seconds. And welcome back here on the Brookland News Live. We're going to stick with you a little after 3 p.m. so we're able to bring you all of the stories that we had planned for you. That's a question that we were asking before yesterday that I was asking, and I wanted to answer it for all of you is, why is Israel launching strikes in Beirut? I want to play kind of an explainer video on this because I'm still asking questions about this. But what we do know is it is because the Houthis are, I believe that's the right excuse me, I believe that is the militant group the militant group that Hezbollah, excuse me, not the Houthis in Yemen, sorry, excuse me. Let's just play the explainer video from someone who's an expert in and is in Beirut.
Hezbollah, which is this paramilitary group that is funded and backed by Iran, is also firing back. But this all started on the weekend. The bombing campaign began in Iran. And I have to say, here in Lebanon, a country so painfully familiar with war, there was sort of collective sigh of relief that, you know, we're not being dragged into another war in the Middle East. But then in the early hours of Monday morning, Hezbollah launched rockets and drones into northern Israel to avenge the killing of Khamenei. And that's when it all kicked off. And within a week, there were more than 700,000 people displaced In a tiny country of just 6 million people, that is a huge chunk of the population. There have been mass evacuation orders, not only in villages in southern Lebanon, but here in Beirut.
So now the mass evacuation orders out there in Beirut, and she says it's not every area within Lebanon; it's specific areas in Lebanon. And now people are kind of evacuating their areas because they don't want to be struck by Israel. They don't want to, of course, put themselves in that type of dangerous situation. So Israel launching strikes on Beirut because the Iran-funded militia group Hezbollah is located there. So that's a little bit of kind of history, but also why this matters so much. And we've been tracking the live shot out of not only Tel Aviv, but also Beirut, where we've seen a lot of these strikes occurred. So a story we are going to monitor, and there's also another aspect of this on retaliation. New information out just within the days that the FBI is now warning California that retaliation could come from the Middle East in this war, from specifically Iran here, and a possible drone strike on the West Coast. Want to play some video for you here. Here we go.
Drone issues have been always top of mind, and we've assembled some work groups specifically around those concerns.
And this is California Governor Gavin Newsom.
But that's all I'll share at the moment. I have nothing more insightful beyond just what's been reported and how we're transmitting what we know to our local partners, which is critical.
So Cal OES also releasing a statement today saying the Cal OES Homeland Security team is in regular coordination with federal, state, and local partners sharing information on potential threats as part of security efforts. The statement goes on to say, quote, while we can't discuss sensitive details, California should know that this kind of coordination happens every day to keep people safe. California is prepared to protect its communities and will continue working closely with our federal partners, including the FBI, who is best positioned to speak to any specific intelligence.
So there you go. There's that report from KXTV, and then the California Governor Gavin Newsom also weighing in on this, saying that they're, of course, monitoring these active threats, and the California also saying that those threats, those drone threats, they've always been a thing. So now it's going to be something that we will continue to monitor. Another quick break. We're not going to sneak in a quick break. We're going to keep on with the news here. We also want to update you right now on the search for Nancy Guthrie, who is the mother of Savannah Guthrie. The Today co-host, the Today Show co-host is what I'm trying to say. Now we're getting we're not getting really any new information from law enforcement there, but we are getting some new video in. This is from a Today Show clip back in 2013, a segment that her mother was in. This is going to be Nancy Guthrie in her home in the Catalina foothills in Tucson. Take a look here.
Tucson, Arizona. Nancy Guthrie joins us now. Hi, Mom. Good morning.
Hi, Savannah.
Well,
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mom. Good morning, I see that you've already made your bed, even though it's 3 a.m. there or whatever.
Exactly.
Mom, why was this an important skill to teach me?
Well, I think everybody needs to know how to make a bed, and so when the time came to teach you guys how to make a bed, this is what I tried to teach you
Now,
anyway.
this is not just your standard bed making. This is the hospital corners bed making. We're talking you can bounce a quarter off of it, right, Nancy?
Natalie, don't put me to the test. It's way too early.
She's backing off. Nancy, I just want to know how difficult Savannah was when you tried to teach her this. How much screaming and stomping her feet was involved.
All three of the kids thought it was a really worthless skill.
Oh, yeah, nice.
But to this day, you make your bed exactly this way, don't you?
Well, I don't make my bed, technically. You know, I just got to leave it.
That's a legal term.
Are there bed elves that come in?
No, I mean, I'm a little intermittent, and sometimes I just shove the sheets and throw the comforter over it. Mom, You're not listening to this, right? But if I had to, in a pinch, make a hospital bed, I think I could because of this delightful skill that my mom.
I think you can't have an organized mind if you don't have an organized bed.
Or we get a good start to the day.
Yeah, so how do we do it?
So, Mom, first you show everybody how to do it, okay? And then you can judge how we do it.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Well, basically, since my bed's already made, the most important thing you have to do is to make sure this top sheet is really pulled in here tightly, because that's going to give you your smooth corner.
And the tuck under.
Then you pull this over, and you make kind of like a triangle.
I remember
with your
that.
top
Wait,
sheet.
don't get started
and
yet.
then,
I'm not getting started.
and then you tuck it under as tightly as you can. But here's the little skill. See this nice corner?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that's as tight as can be.
Okay.
And tuck it in.
And you can keep cookies in
Then
there.
when you sleep, there you go.
And then,
So
Mom,
when you
need to
sleep
bounce
in the
a
middle of
quarter.
the night, it doesn't pull out.
All right, we're going to try it real
Good
quick.
idea.
Here's the first thing.
How do
Look
you
at
do
the
that?
monitor.
Nancy,
David, you're
see
doing
us?
it all wrong.
Okay, so you're going to lift up.
Flip this over. It's easier to do it that way, where you just kind of.
And the flowers are still standing.
Yeah, you get. Yes. Oh, Natalie can do it. Even she's got a broken hand, and she still does it.
I had a father in the military, too.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, she did. Check it out, Mom. Look at Natalie's. It's quite excellent.
Corner and the tuck.
Yeah. What do you think, Mom?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. How's this corner?
Natalie's is wonderful.
When I get
no,
the tuck?
David, wrong.
We show David's.
I'll come over and make Savannah's bed for her,
David,
Nancy.
come on. You've never made a bed in your life, have you?
No, I think that's pretty good. You just kind of.
Wow.
Total fit.
Nancy, he needs help. Well.
Okay, so that's a segment from 2013 on the Today Show with her mother. So a goofy segment, but maybe proving maybe how great of a person Nancy was, and the testimony that we've also heard from her friends, who says her friends and her neighbors, who says she really was just kind of this nice person to be around. So another quick break. When we come back, a look at your forecast as we wrap things up on this Thursday. We're back in a few moments. Alrighty, right now you're taking a live look there at the West Bloomfield, Michigan scene where a vehicle rammed into a synagogue. We are continuing to monitor the latest from there. We're doing a go right now to where things look outside your front door. School traffic there picking up as it is now 3:06 right here in Brooklyn. A look at your forecast as we go throughout the next few days. Wednesday, excuse me here. This looks to be one moment, guys. You're watching Mistakes Live on air. It looks like that may have been yesterday's forecast. Trust me, we do have an updated one that I do want to get to. Maybe. Here we go. So you go into tonight, cloudy skies remain throughout the evening, a low of 45, an overnight low at 45. As we go into Friday, getting up into the mid 60s, low of 47 by Saturday. 70s hit, low of 60s on Saturday. Maybe a good day to get outside, get some of those errands ran if you have any. Today is still a good day, though. It's a little bit chilly outside. It looks nice, though, okay? So that's what your forecast looks like as we continue to take a look live right now in Brooklyn. In the meantime, we will note that we will continue to monitor the situation out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. If there are any more updates there, remember you can follow us for news as it happens on our social media pages. They've been scrolling at the bottom: Instagram, Twitter, or X, excuse me, Facebook, and go to brooklandnews.com for the more local focused headlines as we bring them to you. That is going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. We're back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. 2 p.m., excuse me, Central.